Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network's YouTube channel. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can find us on Facebook and stay up to date on our Facebook group, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcast can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for podcasts, posts, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now and join the community. Subscribe today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's weekly podcast series, The Weekly Seance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Mekas. If this is your first time listening, watching, whatever you might do on the internet, here on the YouTube channel, please click subscribe, like, share, comment. Also follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts, listed below. So, today, a visionary starseed, natural-born clairvoyant healer with mediumistic abilities, along with having many gifts, including remote viewing, remote touch, hearing, conversation, seeing and communicating with spirit, as well as visions and dreams with messages. She's an award-winning best-selling author, publishing over 35 books. She has performed spiritual readings for clients throughout the United States and the UK. She's helped people heal through distance healing and aids people in raising their vibrational energy. Let's welcome back to the show, Gloria Hass. Welcome back.
Thank you, Paul. It's good to be back.
Awesome. So you have a new book out. That is what we're going to be talking about this evening. A journey as a gray hybrid.
Yes.
Cool. So how, what prompted you at this point in life to go, man, I need to put this on paper. I got to tell everybody.
It wasn't my idea. It was instructions that I was given last summer of 2022. And of course I didn't want to do it. I thought, I can write it in fiction form. Okay. Because I was really apprehensive about coming forward. And then in October, the powers that be said, no, this is to be nonfiction form. So that's the timing was now. I was never ever going to write about it. I was skirting the issue in denial because of all the stigma that goes with stating that you have DNA hybrid or you're from an group of extraterrestrials. There are people out there who want to shoot you, kill you, beat you up, bully you. But there are also, on the other hand, the people who are afraid to come forward with their stories. And then once they start reading my book and sharing some of the stranger bits I've heard from other people who are experiencers and who are also hybrids, they're like, thank you for sharing this. Thank you for telling your story. They feel stronger. They don't feel as much alone.
Yeah, it's a therapy reading for those who have experienced this through their lives, and they are afraid they can't. I mean, I don't think we've had mental institutions for a long time, but you're scared to tell anybody this type of stuff, that they're going to lock you up and put you in a rubber room.
Get a phone call from the police saying, we have a list of behavioral health stuff in your area, that you can go and attend and take therapy sessions.
Yeah. So explain a little bit to our listeners, watchers, and all our podcast followers, a little bit about how this all started for you in the book, as far as quick time frame stuff.
Well, I first started experiencing I saw UFO as a child. I knew I didn't belong to my family. It was like, who are these strangers? Who are these people? And it's like, I know I'm not from here, and I know I'm from up in the stars. But when you go from being multidimensional into a linear body, into a linear way of thinking, into a family who thinks UFO and aliens are stuff that you just watch on television on Star Trek, it's very difficult to start sorting things out. And then when you're brought up with a mother who has to be the complete center of attention, you're just like, you stay quiet. Yeah. But I remember my brother talking about, he knew he was adopted. I don't know if he knew before he died that we shared the same mom, but my dad adopted him after my mom gave birth. My parents lied about it, never told him the truth, never told me the truth. I found the truth out after my mom died, before my brother did. And I didn't say anything because his mental state was just so fragile.
Yeah.
Getting back to my brother, my dad was digging a doughboy swimming pool in the backyard. And he ended up having a heart attack before he was able to finish digging. He got most of the hole dug, but then he started with the liner in and everything else. But the doctor told him no. But in between during his recovery, my brother and I asked, can we go play in the swimming pool? And he's, it's in our backyard. He goes, yeah, go ahead. I mean, we could just jump down in it. And even though we were like 8 and 10, we weren't that tall, but still, we would never have, gone into a very deep hole.
Yeah.
So we played Star Trek, and we were in a spaceship. And my brother, of course, had to be the captain because I was a horrible captain, according to him. And we were flying, and one day I said, where are we going? And he said, I'm going to go find my family. I know they're out there somewhere. I said, I want to go find mine too. He looked at me and goes, no, this is your family here. I said, no, it's not. My family's in outer space. And he just looked at me like, okay, I've really lost it. And he said, no, it's not. And the look on his face was like, what? Where do you come up with that thing? And I said, he goes, he like Star Trek, too much Star Trek. I said, no, because I could relate to Spock being half human and half Vulcan. And my brother's the character Spock. And my brother was like, I'm getting out of here. You can go find your family on your own. And here I thought my brother would have taken my side and understood, and that's why I blurted it out. But instead, he didn't. And I remember standing in the hole, the spaceship, which then transformed back into a hole. In my mind, it was just the magic of it was gone. And I looked up into the sky and I said, don't you want me? Yeah, I felt so abandoned.
Yeah. Wow. Now, as far as compiling all the information to this, I mean, there's a lot in the book. I mean, it goes through different sequences in California and every place that you had lived. And how long did it take you to actually compile this information and kind of break it down and go, how am I gonna put this together? Or is it just kind of like all in 1 year, so to speak?
Well, because I started out with the nonfiction book, it was easy to write it in fiction. I mean, when I started the fiction book, it was easy to write it in chronological order, starting when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I was able to put some things down. And then I heard go back to your childhood. And some of the memories were there. And I'm just like, okay, I don't remember. And it's like, yes, you do. And I was also in contact with a man in, I believe, Oklahoma or Texas. I don't remember which state. And he is an experiencer. And when he started talking, he said, don't you remember your being on this spaceship? And then it all just started coming back. And then what I thought were dreams was actually my life as an extraterrestrial, being on Spaceship there. So things started coming forward, but I also had to relax. So I started the nonfiction in October of 2022, and I was finished in 2 months because I had already put a lot of the fiction form in 3 months.
Yeah.
So it was like maybe 5 months to write the entire book.
Now, have you tried seeking out like possible hypnotherapists, past life regression hypnotherapy, and because I know there's these doctors. I see them on the History Channel. I see them on Sci-Fi Channel. I see them everywhere that work specifically with experiencers to try to kind of bring back some detail of a past life or an existence that they had in another life out there.
No, I didn't. What ended up happening was my extraterrestrial mate, who has impregnated me 3 times, and 2 of my 3 children came to visit me because they're an extraterrestrial raised on Spaceship. And they came to me, and he helped fill in the gaps. And then the memories of my levitating, the one time I was being impregnated in my bedroom. And then I started remembering being abducted, actually escorted, I would call that one, to the Spaceship by a gray. And because the tall whites did the impregnation for the grays, and the gray took me and somebody else there and said, I brought you here so you could see where you've been. And It's like, well, I know I've been here. And I've been here a couple of times. I know that.
Yeah.
But then, my experiences of being in the room before, I don't know if it was before or after I was impregnated, because I was just sitting like on a metal table, just watching the tall whites walk around and actually float around and everything. It was just like, I want to go home now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I also noticed that we chat quite often, for those who don't know. And you're also experiencing other things other than extraterrestrial stuff, because you'll pick up as a medium, as a psychic medium. You've worked with local law enforcement, or not local, non-local law enforcement on cold cases. But there is now some of this other work that you're doing. Has anybody in the UFO community or ufology, MUFON, or any of that have reached out to you or yet on working on maybe possible some cases?
No, they haven't.
Not yet.
Not yet. Right. Not yet. I'm working with a retired detective, captain detective, for cold cases that Grizzly Chris, who goes ahead and has the show with a panel of psychics, and I've done 2 so far.
Awesome. He's going to be on our season 17.
All right.
Yeah, he'll be on season 17 on the weekly seance. So we just did a show a couple days ago and stuff like that. That's going to be an energetic show. He's got a good radio voice.
He does. He really does.
Yeah.
He has a good personality too. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Lots of fun. Planning on maybe collaborating and maybe doing some stuff and whatnot.
Cool.
So a lot of these extraterrestrials that are either visiting the planet or mingling with us. It seems like a lot of these I wouldn't say cultures, but lack of a better word, cultures, the races, cultures, stuff throughout the galaxy. A lot of them seem to be always on a ship. They always come from a ship first. Has there ever been any that have kind of like, well, I didn't come from a ship. I kind of like, I wouldn't say beamed down here, but kind of transported here from their planet rather than from a ship?
My experience has always been they've gone from planet to ship, from ship to planet. It's never been from planet to planet that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
That has
Yeah.
not been my experience.
Because we always look at the Stargate, the television program, the movie, and stuff like that, where, you're not really, they're not really coming from a ship, but they're like, okay, let's go to that planet and just go through the wormhole. Which I'm sure, very sure that technology is out there.
Well, actually, I have a portal in my bedroom, and
There you
it's
go.
possible that they do. And there's a portal across the street from where I live. And there are a couple of portals down the street from where I live. So it is possible. I always think they go from portal to spaceship, because when I was an extraterrestrial, I was on the spaceship, and I went from there through the technology into the place where I was going. And then when I left, I entered through a portal to come back on the spaceship.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like most of these cultures that are going from ship to planet are more like they're the explorers. They're the Christopher Columbuses of the federations that are out there. They're just, I wouldn't say the army, but they're the scouts. They're the ones that are kind of trying to keep peace and stuff throughout the solar system and stuff. So they have to have a ship. They're mobile. They need to be mobile.
Yes.
So, yeah. So let me bring up some of your contact information. So they can find all your information is on, they can find you on Linktree. So if anybody goes to Linktree or has Linktree, you can find Gloria Hass at Gloria Hass Books and everything. That's like a one-stop shop place right there. They can find you on Facebook, and you also have a YouTube channel. And on the YouTube, it's at Gloria Hass. And
I don't use YouTube anymore. I use Rumble. No, I don't use it
Rumble.
anymore.
Okay.
Rumble at Visionary Ambassador.
Oh, okay. Awesome. We will put that in the description of this video. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Let me bring up quickly here on the screen. For those who want to look for the book, you can go to Amazon, and there is the page, so you can get it on Kindle, or you can get it in paperback
and hardcover.
And you can follow her on Amazon too. So, are you going to be doing an audio version?
I was thinking about it. I might go ahead and start that this summer. So I'm not sure yet. I've been thinking about it.
Cool. Because people that are driving and they want to read the book, I'm like, no, don't read and drive, please do not. So.
Exactly.
Let me go back to the screen there. Cool. So there has been an uptick, a huge uptick of UFO activity. And actually, I was just speaking to a MUFON investigator the beginning of this week. He had called me based on a report that I submitted to MUFON, our local MUFON, which I think is he was calling from Jacksonville. And what I saw, me and Joanna saw it, and out in the backyard, we're looking at airplane. We're looking at it on an app. I forget, Flight 24, Flight something 24. I'm like, and it shows you all the FAA registered aircraft in the sky, literally perfect places. I'm like, all right, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. And then she looks over and she looks over to the south, and she goes, there's one. And then she realizes that's not an airplane. And I'm like, no, that's not an airplane. And it was phasing in and out of visual perception. And I'm like, okay, I got to submit this. It took about a week, but yeah, I submitted it. But I took the statements, and that's about it. See where that goes. So, yeah. Now, about the book, as far as the See, I'm trying to think of I don't have notes. I got some notes. I'm just taking it as we go. The basically the book is the sum of the whole of your life in this lifetime, as you're experiencing these things throughout your life, starting to make you aware that you are not you're a hybrid, and that you have experiences and had experiences off planet as another race. Now, what race of beings do you feel that you have more of a connection to, other than this lifetime?
The Greys, the Roswell Greys.
Yeah.
I
Now,
have a lot of memories of them, and my children are Greys. My mate is a Grey Sasani mix of the two alien species.
mm-hmm.
And I remember being on the spaceship. I remember, time traveling with them and having a purpose there. And I remember being in my room, and another Grey came in asking me, "Are you ready? It's time to go. Are you ready?" Meaning for me to come into a dead baby's. My mom had a stillborn baby, and I was born into the baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. Now for those who are that because I was going to ask you if you were planning on doing any traveling or any have been invited to work with other groups out there that would that you can assist with as far as content. Now, being a medium too is very helpful as far as like CE5 events, especially out west. Actually, they're building all over the country. I mean, now they're everywhere. But these CE5 events seem to be growing and growing and growing. Not like the really big ones and stuff, but you see all of them on social media. Do you see something happening in the near future? It's all over social media. It's even making the headlines. It's on CNN, ESPN, not ESPN, but ABC, MSNBC, something. They're talking about the mothership. They're saying quite possibly there's a mothership in that's out in the Earth's orbit. At first, there may be, but now it's like there is. It's like, okay, what is it? What is your opinion on it? What is your feeling on and what this objective is, where they're going?
Can we pause for a little bit, and you can edit this out because the maintenance man is coming down the hallway with a vacuum cleaner, and she's going to fart.
10-4. Knock on wood. It's recording? It's recording. Yay. So we are. So at we keep hearing, I'm going to say the word. It's the operation. There's supposedly this operation going on. And Project Bluebeam. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's the talk of the town. I'm sure it's on every tabloid out there. But there's supposedly the mainstream media is always talking about these. There's a mothership out there. It first started. The narrative was first. Well, there might be. Scientists say there might be. Now it shifted to there is. So, what do you think?
Well, on one hand, I believe with the increase of UFO sightings and being sightings and the CE5 events happening, and a lot of people recording everything and putting it on social media forced the hand of the powers that be, the operation. So then they have to start acknowledging it, especially after the government says, yes, but then they keep stringing people along on full disclosure, which I don't think we will ever really truly get full disclosure. And then they start unleashing certain things like at the Olympics, the halftime shows that go along with Project Bluebeam, the holograms and everything else. And now they're saying that they're hearing transmissions from radio waves. Well, I can't say if this is real or not real because I'm not in that room. But with my experience and other people who've experienced, alien beings can talk to people telepathically. They don't need to use radio waves. And they know that we're not as primitive as we used to be when we first sent out that message years ago, you know, hello world or whatever it is, or this is Earth, not knowing, you know, without having the sophistication of what's happening. But a lot of things are going on with the military, transporting a lot of different, you know, like missiles and vehicles, you know, transporting them all to strategic points. And it has me wondering with all of this, and I know that they have the technology. Dr. Stephen Greer showed it on his documentary about the extraterrestrial beings. He has documentation saying, here is the picture. On letterhead, here is the letterhead, and it says that the government has had this information.
Yeah.
Well, my belief is the government has already made all these things, all the documents, and put them into a hangar or whatever. There have been people coming forward in other venues that have said that the government brought them back home and they were full of radiation. They were shot up with drugs. One man was there for 3 years and he came back and lived like 3 or 4 months before he died of cancer. Well, no one that I know of who has been on spaceships, seen the extraterrestrials, have had cancer. There may be, but I just haven't heard of it. So people have said that they've seen the government come in, take the people away, and out they go. And then they're gone for months at a time, and then they come back. Well, I know that this happens with it did happen with underground radio stations who broadcasted, and then people came back dead. But also I've seen documentaries on what people have done to people starting like with MK Ultra, and using all of that. So this, I believe, with people disappearing is put on to that. The MK Ultra is probably still going on with the CIA and the FBI doing their thing. Why would they stop?
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, I believe that the government is going to bring up their spaceships. They want us to be afraid of the aliens. So what's going to happen when the aliens come on board and say, no, we're here in peace? We're going to have a movie like Independence Day? And we're going to have a big fight and just keep on going with guns blazing? And that's not what the entire process, I believe, is about.
Yeah. Yeah. And a possible lockdown, because they keep hearing of that. You know, well, it didn't work for the other event, so they're going to try it for this, you know, the next event. You know,
but they also
lock everything down.
But they also realized that the American public was afraid, so they know how to feed fear even onto a higher level.
Yeah. Yeah, and I tell you what, there's a lot of people that look like aliens with the stuff they dressed in during the last lockdown. I'm like, whoa. The one in those two people in the grocery store. They were actually dressed in astronaut outfits, like with the mask, picking their bananas and apples and stuff. Oh man, that was hilarious.
Yeah, they just came down for a snack and they were going to go beam back aboard.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the best way to hide what's really going on around us is force everybody to stay home.
That's right.
We'll lock everything down and we're just going to go and do our thing.
Exactly.
Don't look at the TV and the news and, and stuff. And then we'll just go out and do this and that and this and stuff. So.
Yep. Diverting energy, diverting attention.
Yeah. Yeah. And then eventually, yeah, like you said, and then they do come. They actually do come and they go, wow. And try to convince us we are the good guys, but we've already gotten to that point of thinking they're bad and waging a war. So, but it's not helping either. I mean, look at the state of our world economy and world social events. Like you said, there's missiles going everywhere. There's missile testing going everywhere. There's, they keep talking about nuke this, nuke that, blah, 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 blah. And, according to historical documentation, stuff like that we are not allowed to use any nuclear weapons. They shut them all down. Period. Because if we use them, they affect them as well. They're like, not happening.
But the aliens can just shoot those out of the sky.
Yeah.
Dissolve them, disintegrate them once they're
Neutralize
shot.
them.
Yeah, neutralize them. Poof, they're gone.
Yeah, done. So they'll use it as energy. They're like, oh, thank you. We need that for our ship. Cool.
Yep.
Depleted uranium. So what do you have as a good takeaway for your book and for those out there that that would be interested in your book, My Journey as a Gray Hybrid?
Well, I put in there, things like the bridal. Well, actually, we call a baby shower, and after the impregnations, there are ceremonies that take place, and I describe them. I describe the different places I have been in the center of a planet. I don't remember which planet, as well as integrating my thoughts in how did I resolve all of this, because last October I was extremely upset, extremely mad to find out my children are alive. It'd be no different than a human if I had given birth to human babies and they were taken and then kept from me and then brought back because somebody wanted to raise them according to the father's side of the family in this case. Just be kind to everyone. The greatest takeaway is be kind to everyone. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to everyone you come across.
Yeah.
Everything, our planet, nurture it, take care of it, take care of the animals, quit abusing them.
Mm-hmm. And each other.
That's right.
We're now more abusive to each other than, I don't know.
The lockdown has, I believe, caused that because of what we were being fed. We've been being fed a lot of stuff since 2008. And I believe this lockdown was instrumental to getting people divided.
Mm-hmm.
Even before that, kept mainstream media with dividing people with the political parties. It's us and them, and not unified as a nation.
Yeah.
It's gotten to where if you don't have my opinion, forget it. You're nothing. All of us have value. We really do, and we need to look at somebody else with value instead of they're not like me. Get rid of them.
Yeah. We all have a purpose. We all have a way to contribute to society, to humanity. All of us. We all have a very unique divine spark that we can offer humanity. And that is what that's what you are delivering to us today. You are sharing your spark, your energy, your essence with your book, your story, to help those that are, that are afraid to also talk about their experiences as well.
Right. And remember, life is life. And one day your life might be dependent upon somebody that you think is scum on the bottom of your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
So think of them as a beneficial human being, not what you can get from them, but a beneficial human being contributing to the world at large.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Gloria, thank you again for being on the show. And
Thank you.
You're welcome. And best of luck on your book. It's been out for how long now?
Since February of this year.
Wow. Been that long?
I know. Man. It just seems like yesterday I released it.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm finishing up on my science fiction book. And I have a couple of other projects with being a medium that I'm running an experiment. And we'll see how things go. I'm going to take the summer to work on a couple of projects.
Cool. And as soon as you're ready to share the new project, let us know. Definitely let me know, and get you back on the show and talk about it. Absolutely. Cool. Gloria, blessings, my friend.
Blessings to you.
Peace be with you. And what's that Spock always said? Man, I don't watch it enough. Yeah.
All I can think of is peace and prosper.
Yeah. Live long and prosper.
Yes.
Yeah, live long and prosper. Not too many. I don't know what the percentage of people that are able to do that, but that's a genetic disposition. There's a lot of people that can't do that.
I had a heck of a time doing it as a child. I had to concentrate. My brother could do it. It was like, sibling. Oh, I can do something you can't.
Yeah. Right on. Gloria, blessings, my friend. And until next time, you have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day, and good luck again on the book.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody, for watching Conscious Radio Network's The Weekly Seance. And until then, we will see you